You are now entering the Marauder's Sanctum.
Welcome to the Marauder's Sanctum. My name is Ian, your humble curator. During these trying times of self-quarantine and staying occupied, I was thinking of things to do and watch and videos to make as I shuffled through the backlog and my memory. While sipping tea in my footy pajamas, an idea hit me over the head like a sock full of rocks. Since you've read the title, you already know what this video is about. But first, some backstory. Up until 2009, Cartoon Network aired, exclusively cartoons. But from summer 2009 to 2010, they dipped their toes into live-action television with a block of programming they called CN Real. Now, if you're a fan of Cartoon Network, you remember this era. It's commonly referred to as the Dark Ages. A couple examples of shows that premiered during this time are Brain Rush, a roller coaster game show hosted by Winston from New Girl.
Winston! Why are you yelling at me?
Bobby, or Bobby Says, a Tosh Boy No Eclipse show hosted by that rude kid from That's So Raven. Someone should probably tell him he spelled his name wrong. And finally, Dude, What Would Happen? A Pothead Mythbusters. Of all the experimental shows to premiere on Cartoon Network, there are two bright spots. The subject of today's video is Tower Prep, created by Paul Dini. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because that man was responsible for your childhood. He's the architect of happiness. He worked on shows like Mr. T, Masters of the Universe,
And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep
Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, and most recently, Harley Quinn on the DC streaming service. All these shows definitely slap, by the way. Definitely check them out. Now keep in mind, I had no idea he was involved in this show, let alone created it. I found this out when I was researching this, but it makes sense why I was drawn in as a kid. I'm going to review the pilot of its first and only season, allowing you to decide if you'd like to continue the season should you choose to do so, which I implore you to do. Now let's discuss a show that in my opinion was cancelled entirely too soon, Tower Prep, and let's see how it stacks up against my memory. By the way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm a new channel and I appreciate the feedback. Thanks. We start in a schoolyard where we meet our protagonist, Ian Archer, who's played by Drew Van Acker, who recently has been playing Aqualad on Titans. Now I'm going to leave my review of that show out of my retrospective on this one, but believe me, I have a lot of opinions about that show. Anyway, I was just happy to see a protagonist with my name, and a cool one at that. Anyway, Ian confronts the high school bully. While he's deciding whether or not to jump in, he's either in line at Starbucks, conflicted on his order, or he's deciding what to wear to school the next day. Either way, they clearly gave this guy no direction. He has no idea what he's looking at in this reaction shot. Anyway, after he sees him picking on his friend, which by the way, in what world are these two hanging out? I mean, first of all, he's clearly a grown-ass dude.
He is not a dude. You're a dude. This is a man. A handsome, muscular man.
It bothers me in shows when every kid in a show is actually a 29-year-old. But all the extras in the background are 15. You expect me to believe all these people are the same age? If you believe that, I need to hook up on whatever it is you're smoking. Secondly, he clearly was just looking for a reason to introduce this guy's face to the pavement. After he drops the people's elbow on this guy, he's suspended from school. And he comes home to an angry parent, as expected. And angsty teens are angsty.
Swinging. So I'm supposed to watch and push around other kids and do nothing?
No. You tell a teacher, you tell us.
Are you telling me to change who I am?
You haven't even begun to realize who you are.
And dialogue isn't that great. Or the acting's a little wooden. I can't really tell. Might be a little bit of both. But I give it a pass, because no pilot's perfect. It's trying to find its footing. He goes to his room and plays his MMORPG. Huh, they might actually be friends. I might have to re-examine my own personal biases. Nah. And then Ian gets audibly roofied through his headphones.
Hey! First tone. Better motivate, you'll miss breakfast. That really would suck.
And wakes up at Pacific Coast Academy.
I know you see me standing here.
I am sorry, that is a typo. I meant to say Tower Preparatory School. where he finds out his roommates are actual 80s bullies that evade direct questions more than Mark Zuckerberg in Congress.
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
Where am I? I said, where am I?
The thing that frustrates me the most about him being taken is from the time he wakes up, it takes 12 minutes of screen time for someone to explain what the hell is happening to him. I know because I fucking timed it. And the kidnapping takes place in the first 3 minutes of the show. It's kinda genius. It helps to put you in the shoes of the protagonist and sympathize with him as well as hook you to stay and find out what's going on. You can only imagine how long it took in the world's time for him to find out. He finally gets told by the principal he was shipped to a boarding school in the middle of nowhere, and his parents know exactly where he is, and they're sick of his shit. After a very long and confusing day, Ian returns to his room. I'd like to preface what I'm about to say by saying I rarely use the term, but these bullies are headasses by definition. From their first appearance on screen, they laugh at him for being freaked out about his kidnapping.
What are you doing here? Well, where else would we be? We're in our room.
Automatically making these characters irredeemable. You guys have gone through the same exact thing that he's going through right now, and you're acting like you get kidnapped on the daily. Then, instead of giving him directions to orientation where he could get some real answers, they send him to the weird lacrosse/roller derby team where he could get his ass beat in this weirdly edited Hurt Locker/Paul Greengrass early 2000s fight scene. And now they're going through his phone and refuse to return his property.
Sorry about that.
Alright, dick. These three Weasley dicks are picking on my dude who's 2 feet taller than them and is busting out his medium t-shirt. These dudes look like every edgelord scene kid whose hero is the Joker. Alright man, give these dudes the business. I fully endorse you opening a can of whoop ass on these candy asses. So instead of beating their ass to the white meat, this character, who has clearly showed no aversion to violence at all, decides to turn the other cheek. But hey, character development? He decides I should probably be hitting the old dusty trail, which I thought took a little longer than I thought was realistic, but whatever, better late than never. He decides to venture further than the wall he encountered earlier, where he runs into his fellow classmates who are also trying to escape. And what do you know, they don't just let you leave. They have these things called gnomes, which vaguely look like guys in night vision goggles, but I digress. Among his classmates is definitely, yeah, that's him, the kid from Soul Plane. I'm still holding a grudge for that one.
Dad, I'm like that. Damn, what up? Here's your card, Dad.
But I'll let you slide for Spy Kids 3, I guess, for now. His classmates let him in on what I thought was the coolest exposition the show's given me so far. Each of the students possess a special gift, whether it be like a Sharingan.
Give me a for instance. Give me a for instance.
Enhanced deduction.
You know the expression, I can read you like a book? Well, everyone communicates through facial tics, quick breaths, nervous eyelash flickers. It's like a second language to me.
Persuasion.
These guys, we just took a wrong turn after study hall. Chased a baby raccoon out here.
Don't worry.
Should have seen the thing. He's so adorable.
He can talk his way out of anything.
Now, that being said, I don't think there's any...
And Ultra Instinct.
You can see things just before they happen and react a second faster.
We get a glimpse of Ian's gift a couple times in the show, but we don't exactly know what it is yet until right now. They commiserate in the forest over this place sucking and decide to form an unlikely friendship. They make such a great impression on each other that they help Ian get revenge on his Peckerwood roommates. And just like that, our pilot is finished, with the promise of many more adventures to come at a school called Tower Prep, with not one tower to be seen in this bitch. While I feel this show was cancelled way too early, before it had a chance to stretch its legs, it's still a hidden gem, joining the ranks of other shows that were cancelled before their time. The show also gave me one of my favorite bands, Foxy Shazam. They used their music in their promotional material, and had a tie-in music video with the song Unstoppable. I do hope the show's brought back in some way, whether that be a comic, or at this point I'd even take a web show. Just finish the story. At this point it just bothers me. You can allegedly find the pilot on YouTube. I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Check it out, comment below, let me know what you think. Well, that'll do it for this one, and thanks for your time. You can follow me on my social media, links will be in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to watch your step on the way out of the sanctum.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed 'em to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carol Baskin.